It's Matt, and I want to talk to you about writing and how to become a better writer through the simple process of writing 3 A5 pages a day. I'm calling this the Naked Pages, and I hope you will join me on this journey. A little bit about myself. I've been a copywriter for about 25 years. I've done everything from long form copy, articles. I've been the editor of 2 business publications. One was a major national business publication called Business Franchise, and the other one was a property publication called Your Property Pensions. Very dull, but this was my entry into the world of writing. So I have been writing now for, like I say, 25 years. I worked for Reuters for 10 years across their different departments, Reuters events, and produced a lot of copy for different sectors, telematics, anti-corruption, renewable energy, big pharma. And one thing I'd say about copywriting is that I did enjoy it, but it's real work, it's real graft, and after doing it for 25 years, things have changed dramatically with the advent of AI. I'll give you an example. I was at a educational event the other day, and I was chatting to a guy there, and I actually told him I was a copywriter, and he laughed and said, English wasn't his first language, so but he had very well spoken English and was fairly successful in what he was doing. And he said, I use AI to do that. And he said it with such kind of force and arrogance. It was a bit of a conversation killer, really. I sort of thought, well, thanks for that, mate. Something comes along that takes your livelihood away from you, and you think that's funny. But then I went on to tell him that that he shouldn't be so trusting of AI. And I think that we're now going through a period of people who've been overly deferring and delegating to AI, and for a lot of people it's coming to bite them in the backside, because if you don't know what AI is outputting, and if you don't know what it's writing, or you don't properly understand it, and you don't sense check it, edit it, and people talk about training AI to speak in your tone of voice. Yeah, sure, but it's still just pulling information from the internet and cobbling it together in a way that is probabilistic. And I think that's it's a dangerous thing to do. I think use AI for sure, but you need to know why you're using it, what your intent is, what your purpose is, and I don't think a lot of people do. And I was so affronted by this kind of, this almost mocking tone of this guy, that I just thought, if AI can do everything, what's the point? What's the point in existing? What's the point in being human? What's the point in humanity? I mean, AI is posing these existential questions to us that we can either kind of cower away from, or we can face up to and overcome the fear. Now, fear works great as this acronym. False evidence appearing real. So sorry for the long pause. I had to recall it exactly. I didn't want to get it wrong and fumble my words. Fear, false evidence appearing real. I heard someone say it. I don't know where they got it from. Probably some famous speaker. But it's very easy to clam up due to fear and to not do things. Fear is the thing that stops you, and fear definitely stops people from writing. So what I wanted to do is extend something to you which I've been doing for a long time anyway, which is journaling. But bear with me, it sounds tedious and dull, like keeping a diary. That's how it started for me. But then what I started doing is kind of formalizing it a little bit more and writing 3 pages a day. So I've got these books here that I've been writing now for some time, not that long actually, only since January. And this isn't sort of show off, but it's just to show you how important I think it is to just handwrite everything. If you want to get away from the fear of technology, of AI, and of feeling like you can't do it anymore because there's something there that technology does better than you. And I'd like to take this sort of opportunity to say there is really nothing technology can do better than you when it comes to writing, simply because technology doesn't know how you feel, it doesn't know how you see the world, and it doesn't understand you. You can train it to understand you, but the one thing you should never delegate to technology are your feelings, which is why I find it quite alarming that people turn to AI to write their Valentine's Day cards and their love letters and things like that. Personally, if I received a Valentine's Day card, which I get one a year, and found out it was written by AI, I would be mortified, because it has to come from the other person. We're human beings, we need to connect, and we connect through words, body language, and the thing that comes closest to that, which is like a telepathy of sorts, is writing. If I write something and send it to you, you read it and you get a sense of where I'm coming from and what I want to say to you without me actually being there. I could be dead and you could still be getting that sense of me, the real me, especially if it was handwritten. So so these 3 pages a day, it basically grew out of 2 things. One was my journaling process, and the other was The Artist's Way by, I've forgotten her name now, but she wrote this book. She was married to Martin Scorsese, and I believe she went and they divorced, and she went and kind of became something of a recluse, and she started this daily process of writing, which I followed. I lived in Sydney for a while. I was a DJ and a care worker, strange combination, but there you go. And I just started this process of writing every single morning, but there was no limit to how much I wrote. I would fill books and books. They're all in the loft, and I just love that feeling of the pen going across the page, my thoughts tumbling out onto the page, and getting really close to the page is I've kind of purloined that phrase from an author called Carl Ove Knausgaard. He talks about getting close to the page, and I've sort of wondered what he meant by that. But the more I'm doing this kind of daily writing, daily journaling, I get a sense of it's getting close to the essence of what you want to say, the truth of what you want to say, the feeling of who you are, and it's really important, and it only happens over time. So I think of it a little bit like maybe working out or going to the gym. You can see I probably haven't been to the gym for a while, but that's for other personal reasons and health problems. But like going to the gym, I used to go to the gym a lot, and one time I was 19 and I was really unhealthy. I was eating crap food and smoking a lot, and I was a student, and one day I just saw a photo of myself and I was like, oh, Christ, you really ballooned, mate. You need to sort yourself out. So I went absolutely ballistic. I ran outside, put my shorts on, my trainers, and I went for a huge run. And I made myself really ill. I got broken veins in my legs. I couldn't breathe properly for about 2 days. I couldn't sleep. It was a stupid thing to do. I just thought I could get fit really quickly, and it's similar to going down to the gym. if you go to the gym and you work out for 10 hours, you're gonna just kill yourself. So the better thing to do, of course, is to go to the gym and do a little bit every day or 3 times a week, or have some routine, so that over time you see this improvement in your body and in your physique. And so I use this as an analogy for writing, because if you sit down and write 20,000 words, well, bully for you, but that's not the way to become a better writer. You become a better writer by doing a little bit every single day. So when I was doing the artist's way and following that process, I wrote too much, and eventually I gave up, because it became too much of a big task, an ordeal. So what this is 3 pages a day is manageable. You can do it in half an hour. It has to be handwritten, because you just want to get rid of tech. You don't want any tech around you whatsoever when you do this. You want to get deep into the page, as close to the page as you can. And with the artist's way, it was like a stream of consciousness. Personally, I don't think that's the way to go. I think the way to treat your 3 pages is as, just get that first line down, what's on your mind. So for example, this morning, I had no idea what I was going to write in my 3 pages, and I ended up writing about hantavirus. So that's obviously something I picked up from the news, because of these cruise ships going around the world, and a few people have died. I'm getting sort of flashbacks to COVID, all those kind of narratives that sort of feed into fear. And obviously that was on my mind. I got up and I thought, I'm going to write about this. What am I going to write in my 3 pages today? But the first thing that came out was I started writing about, I can just very quickly read you the first line. And it's, as usual, I wake up and my mind is blistering with thoughts. I think maybe I used that phrase because before I went to bed, I saw something on the news about hantavirus. I was watching the TV with my better half, and as usual, we started talking at the TV as if it could hear us, when really the TV is just a proxy for our opinions, however far right or left of centre they happen to be. So that was the opening this morning, and I started writing about hantavirus, and I finished my 3 pages. Sometimes it might be the case that I write 5 lines on something like hantavirus, and then I go off into another world, another tangent. I only really know when I read it back, which is really important to do, but not straight away. You read it back the following day, when you come back to do your 3 pages. So you do your 3 pages, and it has to be 3 pages of A5. So I worked out that 3 pages of A5 is about 750 to 1,000 words, and it's a manageable amount to do. So you just hit those 3 pages. You can do it in half an hour, and you just get the pen into the page, and you write that first thought down, and you just follow that thought through. It's like pulling a thread. You just keep going until the thread runs out, and the thread always runs out at the end of page 3, at which point you close the book and you get on with your day. And the next day you come back, you read your pages, you write your next 3 pages, and then you read your previous 3 pages. And when you do this sort of pendulous thing day in, day out, it is like, a little workout every single day that will help improve your writing. But it's not just about becoming a better writer. It's actually about connecting with, you hear a lot of writers talking about finding their voice, and it sounds like such a throwaway thing, but it's a really, really important thing. And by doing this every day, you find your voice. You do that workout, and after 6 months to a year, you see the body that wanted to come out of you but was hidden. And it's very similar with writing. You start to see the writer that you are. It's your personality, devoid of fears and kind of, ideas about what's right and wrong. It's your voice, and no one can touch that. You know, no one can touch it. And if you handwrite it, I think it's absolutely the best way to go. In fact, you have to handwrite it. You have to have that flow from the mind. It's a corporeal thing. You know, it's a flow from the mind through the body into the hand, through all the nerves in the arm into the hand, and then your hand moving the pen across the page and forming words. I mean, it's miraculous, really. Words make sentences, paragraphs, and then ideas that can form into stories. I mean, any one of these 3 pages could turn into a novel, but that's not the point of the exercise. You know, writing something that's as big as that's why most people always dream about writing a novel but never do it. It's because they've set themselves this momentous task. I love walking in the fields out the back, but I really don't think I'm actually going to climb Everest. No matter how much I think I want to in my mind, I'm never going to do it. So, you know, this is to make everything. It's to bring the writing process. The writing process can go on forever. You could write 10 billion words. Well, so what? You know, what you want to do is improve your quality of writing over time through practice. And so I'm going to go on this journey with you. This is me building in public as well. I'm doing this for the first time. This YouTubing thing is a whole new experience for me. So I can share my kind of experiences of that. I mean, it's been a momentous undertaking just for me to get to this point now where I'm in front of you. I said it in a previous video, talking about something that I love and being able to sort of tolerate seeing myself on the screen and just killing that self-doubt, killing that fear. It's all of the things that you need to do to write. You know, I think Stephen King said, write faster than the gingerbread man can run, which I thought was funny, because I just immediately had this image of the gingerbread man running and me trying to outrun him, but transposing that into writing. You know, I would say with your 3 pages, you don't need to write that fast. You don't need to write at the speed of sound. You know, just write. This why writing is better than typing as well. I mean, I could talk about this all day long, but you just want to write at a pace that is in lockstep with your thoughts, that it's dovetailing with your thoughts. So as your thoughts are coming out, you're writing them down. And if you jam up in your thoughts, just take a pause and then keep going. But the most important thing is that you don't stop, you know, for more than, like, you know, half a minute. Sometimes I'll lean back, think, what am I trying to say here? And then get back to the page, rather than just writing gobbledygook, which, going back to the artist's way, when I was writing just free thinking, continuous thoughts, stream of consciousness stuff, there was a lot of just gobbledygook. And I think it's really important to actually take that, you know, that stream of consciousness and tame it a little bit, so that when you read it back to yourself, you actually think, oh yeah, I can see what I was trying to say there. So anyway, I'm gonna at some point talk about the next part of my process, but I think that's enough for this video. And thanks for listening. Hopefully you'll join me on this journey of writing 3 pages a day. I'm going to be doing it with you. I'll be reading my 3 pages every day. Not sure if I'm going to do it on the weekends yet, but you know, I'll decide that as I go along. You know, there's going to be no glossy bloody, you know, I tried messing around with CapCut and it was a disaster. You know, I don't want anything to get in the way of this process or slow it down. So there'll be no fancy, like, you know, visual effects. So it might come across a little bit dull in terms of that side of things, but that's not really the point of this. The point of this is to just is to write, to become a better writer through writing 3 pages a day, every day. Well, who knows, for the rest of your life. Get yourself a new big shelf and just start watching it fill up over the years with your thoughts and your dreams and your visions and your perspectives and your opinions and your whatever. Create a legacy. Thanks for listening.